The story of Bishop St. Magloire.
Subscribe to our channel to receive more content like this.
In the misty lands of Brittany, toward the end of the 5th century, a child was born who would one day be known for his holiness and humility. His name was Magloire. From a young age, he stood apart from other children. While they played and laughed, he sought quiet places for prayer and reflection. He seemed to know early on that true joy wasn't found in wealth or comfort, but in serving God and others. Magloire grew up alongside his cousin, St. Samson, another soul destined for sainthood. The two shared not only blood, but deep faith. When they came of age, their paths diverged. Samson entered a monastery, while Magloire returned home to live virtuously among his family. Yet his heart yearned for something greater, a call to dedicate his life fully to God. That call became clear after a miracle changed his family forever. Samson's father fell gravely ill, and when medicine failed, prayer healed him completely. Grateful to God, Samson's father renounced worldly life and dedicated himself and his entire household to divine service. Inspired by their faith, Magloire and his family did the same. They gave away all their possessions to the poor and joined St. Samson's monastery, where Magloire took the monastic habit and began a new life of simplicity and prayer. Monastic life was harsh. The monks often fasted, slept little, and labored long hours. Yet Magloire found peace in it. He served joyfully, tending gardens, sweeping floors, and comforting the sick. His quiet humility soon earned him deep respect. St. Samson saw in him a rare spiritual wisdom and invited him to join in his missionary journeys across Armorica, preaching and healing among the Breton people. Their work was difficult. Long travels, harsh weather, and little rest. But Magloire welcomed every challenge as a way to grow in faith. Each person he met, each village he visited was another opportunity to bring God's light to others. When St. Samson died, the people of Dol turned to Magloire as their new shepherd. Reluctantly, he accepted, becoming Bishop of Dol. As bishop, Magloire led with gentleness. He reminded his people that holiness was not found in status or power, but in mercy and love. His kindness drew others to faith, and under his guidance the community flourished. He was known to rise before dawn to pray, asking God for strength to lead wisely. But as the years passed and his body grew weary, Magloire felt God calling him once more, this time to a life of quiet reflection. At 70, he humbly resigned his bishopric, entrusting his flock to younger leaders. For him, stepping down was not loss, but an act of obedience and peace. He understood that every season of life has its purpose. There is a time to lead and a time to let go. After his resignation, Magloire withdrew to a quiet region on the continent. There, he lived as a hermit, spending his days in prayer and manual labor. Yet, even in solitude, people sought him out. Pilgrims came for his counsel, prayers, and healing touch. Though he longed for silence, he welcomed each visitor with compassion, never turning anyone away. Seeking deeper solitude, he later moved to the Isle of Jersey, off the coast of France. There, he founded a monastery of 60 monks. His leadership was gentle but firm, guiding them to live in unity, humility, and constant prayer. To them, Magloire was not just an abbot, but a father, someone who led by example, teaching that true holiness came from love and simplicity. As age took its toll, Magloire's body weakened, but his spirit remained strong. Surrounded by his monks, he continued to teach and bless those who visited him. He often reminded them, "The greatest treasure in life is not gold or fame, but peace of heart and love of God." Around the year 575 AD, Bishop St. Magloire passed away peacefully, like one fallen asleep in the Lord's embrace. His monks buried him with reverence, and soon stories of miracles spread across Brittany. People prayed through his intercession, and many claimed to be healed or comforted by his prayers. His tomb became a place of quiet pilgrimage. Over time, devotion to St. Magloire grew throughout Brittany and the Channel Islands. Churches and monasteries were dedicated in his name, honoring his example of faith. He became known not as a man of power or fame, but as one who gave his entire life to God, his youth, his strength, and his final years. The life of St. Magloire reminds us that holiness isn't found in grand achievements, but in humble faithfulness. He teaches that every stage of life has value, whether leading others or serving quietly in the background. Like Magloire, we are called to find peace not in recognition, but in love, compassion, and surrender to God's will. In a world that often values success and comfort, St. Magloire's story calls us to something deeper, to give without expecting reward, to lead with gentleness, and to trust that God's plan unfolds perfectly when we live with humility. His life whispers to every heart willing to listen. Be faithful in the small things, and you will find joy in the greatest things. Through his quiet yet powerful witness, St. Magloire continues to shine as a humble light from ancient Brittany, guiding souls even today toward the peace that only God can give.